The dark figure. Brandon saw who's coming in 2028. He named some of them. He left one unnamed. Here's why that matters. In March of 2026, Brandon Biggs was in the middle of a prophetic stream when he stopped and said something that has stayed with me ever since. He said he saw a new face rising. Not a familiar face, not a recycled name from the last election cycle, a new face. And he said this:
but a charismatic, forked-tongued person is coming that is going to try to sway even the believer in the days ahead. Like Obama, playing on race for the African Americans, preying on the Spanish, playing on this. You'll follow somebody because of the charismatic and what they promise you. Look what happened in New York. And people, that'd never happen as president. That'd never happen. A dark individual is coming. I don't even know if like a Muslim or whatever. This is. I don't see a religion. I see Satanism. I see somebody who's being groomed by the devil. It's not like I'll say, well, this is a Muslim or whatever, or a socialist. It is a person who is I won't even say they're claimed to be a Satanist. I don't know. This person, what I'm seeing is a demonic figure that is demonically energized with a satanic endowment and like an anointing. Like a charismatic demonic. This is like a charisma, like everybody's gonna be like you, like Hitler. Not as bad like Hitler, like killing people, but I'm talking about it's the same. Why do they follow him? It's the same thing. And the devil has a plan. We're in the end of the end.
He said the pull this person had on people was not about policy. It was a spirit. And he compared it to Hitler. Not the ideology, not the policy, the pull. The way people were drawn towards something they couldn't fully explain magnetically, irrationally, almost against their better judgment. He said there was a darkness around this person, not a glow, a darkness like an aura. And he said the number 8 was beside them. Tonight, we document what Brandon saw, and we ask the question that his comment section had already started asking. Is 2028 closer than anyone thinks? What Brandon actually saw. Let me give you the full picture of what Brandon described, because the details matter. He wasn't vague about this. He was specific. He saw a charismatic individual, new, not a recycled establishment name, someone with a freshness about them that the political world hadn't fully processed yet. He described what he called a demonic envelopment surrounding this person. That's his exact word, envelopment. Not possession, not evil in a cartoonish sense, an envelopment, like a surrounding, a spiritual atmosphere that traveled with them. And he said people were drawn to it the way people were drawn to Hitler. He was careful to clarify. He wasn't talking about ideology or policy. He was talking about a spirit operating through a human vessel, something that made crowds feel something they couldn't put words to, something that bypassed the rational mind and went straight to the emotional one. He said this figure would play on 3 things: race, economics, and fear. He saw a number. That number 8 was beside this person, and he saw them attempting a 2-term presidency. Notice that word, attempting, not completing, not necessarily winning cleanly, attempting. There's something in that word worth sitting with. He also said, and this is the line that should make every church in America pay attention.
I see for 2028, I see darkness. I'm telling you, around 2028. It's great darkness. A plan. And it will take the church rising up in prayer and fasting and seeking the Father like we've never sought him before, for revival and for the church to wake up.
Unless the church wakes up. That's not a prophecy of doom. That's an invitation, a warning with the door still open. The ones he named. Here's something most people miss when analyzing Brandon's political prophecies. He names some people, and he deliberately doesn't name others. In the same season of streams where he describes the 2028 dark figure, he named Gavin Newsom explicitly. He saw him slithering. His word? Slithering on his belly like a snake from California toward Washington, D.C. He named Cory Booker, saw him moving the same direction with what he called a forked tongue. He named Chuck Schumer, said his days were numbered, connected it to his health. These men he named by name. But the 2028 dark figure, the one with the demonic envelopment, the Hitler-like pull, the number 8, the one he left unnamed. Why would a prophet name the snakes but not the serpent? There are two possible reasons. The first, he genuinely didn't have a name to give. The person wasn't fully on the national radar when the vision came. The second, he was being careful, responsible, leaving room for the audience to watch events unfold and draw their own conclusions. Either way, the unnamed figure is, by definition, someone the prophetic community needs to identify as events develop. And in the 18 months since that prophecy was given, the American political landscape has produced exactly one figure who matches the description in a way that is simply impossible to ignore: the rise. In the summer of 2025, a New York State Assembly member from Queens ran for mayor of New York City. Almost nobody outside the New York political circles knew his name. He ran against Andrew Cuomo, a man with decades of name recognition, establishment backing, the full weight of the Democratic machine behind him, and he won against him. Not narrowly. He won in a way that stunned commentators across the political spectrum who had no rational framework to explain the momentum. Analysts who had covered New York politics for 30 years said they had never seen anything quite like it. Brandon described people drawn to the dark figure like a magnet, not because of policy, because of a demonic spirit. Now, I want to be careful here, and our editorial standard on this channel requires me to be. We are not saying this person is evil. We are not making a spiritual declaration about any individual human being. What we are doing, what this channel always does, is documenting what Brandon saw, presenting the observable evidence, and asking whether the description fits what is unfolding. Zoran Mamdani is now the mayor of New York City. He is a democratic socialist. His platform is built explicitly on economics, race, and fear of oligarchy. The three pillars Brandon said the dark figure would play on. He is charismatic in a way that transcends his policy positions. Political scientists have noted that his supporters often struggle to explain the pull they feel toward him in conventional terms. He is being discussed openly in mainstream publications as the defining force of the 2028 Democratic political landscape. And here's what makes this documentable as a prophetic thread. He cannot legally run for president. He was born in Uganda. He became a naturalized American citizen in 2018. Under Article 2 of the Constitution, the natural-born citizen clause, he is constitutionally ineligible for the presidency. And yet the discussion about his role in 2028 has not stopped. It has accelerated. The constitutional puzzle. Here's where this episode goes somewhere most political analysis doesn't. The same constitutional clause that bars Mamdani from the presidency also technically bars him from the vice presidency. The 12th Amendment states plainly that no one constitutionally ineligible for the presidency shall be eligible for the vice presidency either. So legally, he can't hold either office. But that clause has never been tested at the Supreme Court level. It has never been adjudicated. And in an era where constitutional questions are being relitigated at a pace this country hasn't seen in generations, it's never been tested. It's a very different thing from it's settled. Here is the scenario worth documenting, not as a prediction, but as a prophetic thread to watch. What if the ticket wins with Mamdani as vice president, with the legal challenge either not brought, not successful, or not resolved before the inauguration? What if the person at the top of the ticket, the president, is then no longer able to serve? Brandon prays over Trump's physical health almost every stream. He prays over his heart, his blood flow, his mind. He prays with an urgency that suggests he has seen something that concerns him. In the July 19th stream, in the middle of prayer, he said,
I saw the vision with President Trump gone while she was still pregnant.
He pulled back from it. He rejoiced that Trump was still alive, but the vision was there, and he reported it on record. Now hold that alongside the 2028 dark figure prophecy. Brandon saw someone attempting a two-term presidency. Attempting. Not easily achieving. Not inheriting cleanly. He saw a figure whose rise plays on race, economics, and fear with a pull on people that transcends policy. He saw the number 8. He saw 2028 as a dark year unless the church responds. A successful path. VP ascends to the presidency upon the presidency's incapacity. It doesn't require an election. It doesn't require a majority. It requires one thing: being seated as vice president first. That is the thread Brandon's prophecy could be pointing toward. The bigger picture. I want to place this in the full context of what Brandon has been building prophetically, because this episode doesn't stand alone. Brandon has consistently described a window, a season, a work while it is day, urgency. He says night is coming. And on July 11th of this year, he gave that night a timeline: 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030. Great darkness concerning the internet, tentacles around free speech, Agenda 2030 being pushed with full force. He has also connected the Clarity Act, the digital currency legislation currently moving through the Senate, to what he calls the beast system. He said clearly the Clarity Act will bring forth the digital age that brings forth the mark of the beast. Now consider, if a socialist administration takes power in 2028, who controls the implementation of the new digital financial infrastructure the Clarity Act creates? Brandon saw the window. He saw what's inside it. The wealth transfer, the healing wave, the revival, the harvest. And he saw what closes it. He's not preaching doom. He is preaching urgency. I'm out of time, the Lord told him. Not out of mercy, but out of time. The 2028 dark figure prophecy isn't a reason to despair. It's a reason to work. Brandon saw a figure rising. He described characteristics so specific that a match has become visible in the political landscape. He warned that the pull on people would bypass rational analysis and go straight to something deeper, something spiritual. He also gave the church a conditional. Unless the church wakes up, unless prayer increases, unless believers engage, vote, intercede, and operate with the urgency of people who understand the hour. That's what this channel is here to document. Not to alarm you, not to tell you who to vote for, to show you what one prophetic voice has been saying consistently across years of live streams, so that when it unfolds, you had the information in advance. This channel documents. You decide. My name is Rob. Hallelujah.